And as you know, we assembled the bottom end, got the K28 Type R oil pump prepped up onto the K24 block, and of course, finished up the head, and then we finished assembling it. And here we are now with a Cometic head gasket about to drop in the head, and of course, the Kpower Industries rear wheel drive header and exhaust. And because this is a rear wheel drive, it will be facing forward the timing cover. Why not run a Skunk2 magnesium cover? That's how it's gonna be looking really good. Innovate or die. The only company that could live by this statement is Skunk2. Yeah. And of course, the OEM parts for all the goods to get all the engine ready. And here we are. We finished welding the Kpower Industries intake manifold. So now it's time to finish up the engine. And this one is something that's just right for you. Alright, as mentioned, we got the Cometic head gasket all ready, and of course, in the previous video, we were about to assemble the cylinder head after doing some finishing touches, so now it's all said and done. So now, we go back to the engine stand and install the head. Let's go, let's go. Okay, over here now, with a paper towel or a shop towel, we'll make sure we wipe off the deck. Make sure it's clean and dry, no oily grime or whatever, so that the head gasket seals perfectly well. Okay, yep. Okay, it's pretty dry. All right. Now we drop in the Cometic head gasket. There you go. And of course, we'd like to set the dowel pins here before we drop in the head. Because some actually like to press it onto the head, but then it gets harder to do that. So, or put the dowel before the head gasket. That is fine, but sometimes it just gives me a hard time. So I drop in the head gasket first and then the dowel. Okay, now we drop in the head. Yes, sir, carefully. You double check all corners if it's aligned, especially the dowels. Like, see, right now it's wedged a bit. Okay, wait, let me fix the camera or the phone. Okay, now there. Now we're gonna hand tight all the head studs. Make sure it's all clean, and even the block itself, you clean all the threaded bores or the thread holes for the head stud. Because if it's not clean, you might start to cross thread it, or lose the threads. So that's not good. All right. And now it's well oiled up and it's all good and it's ready. Drop it one by one. Yes, sir. And then now we go with a time lapse because we have to tighten this hand tight first. Just to be sure it's all snug. And of course the head, so that the head is like really snug and we know everything is good and ready to be torqued up. Because if something is off, you might notice it now and it's not too late to pull the head out. All right, now we go with the first step, 29 feet-pounds torque. And yes, we're not going to time-lapse this because everyone likes to hear that clicking sound of the torque wrench. All right, so it's the first step on all of it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The clicking sound is really just, it's something that, I always look forward to when I'm assembling an engine. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's just a big thing for me. Even the connecting rods, everything. If only I could torque every single thing, I would. Well, no, just kidding. All right. And then now there's two more on the other end. And then we're ready. And yes, we're going to use my iPhone again, taped up to the torque wrench just to get the 90 degrees. All right. Yes, sir. Okay, now let's go. The manual says the second step is 90 degrees turn. And for a brand new head stud or head bolt, it's plus another 90. But this one is a used set, so we're going with one step with a 90. All right. And it's always been fine for us. Okay. Oh, there. Okay. Okay, now For the rest, let's all time lapse this, alright? Let's go, let's go. Alright, I'll just keep going. It's starting to look really good and getting all snug up on the head gasket. And there you go. Yes, sir. All sealed up and ready to rumble. Well, not yet. We still need to test fit the cams. Okay, now here, look at that. It looks really good and ready, right? And just so you wait when you get all the rest of the stuff on it, including the header. Yes, the header, the rear wheel drive header. As you can see here, it looks really nice. Yes, for those intake ports. And yes, it's all good. It's actually just waiting now because we're still cleaning up the other stuff. Like for example, we're actually unpacking the timing chain cover. Okay, now here, before we continue further, if you guys haven't subscribed, you gotta subscribe while we share the images because this is gonna keep getting better and better. And here's a closer look at the 50 VTC. Yes, sir. And also, like I said earlier, if you guys haven't subscribed, you gotta hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification. This way, whenever we have something good uploaded, you would know when to check it or how to check it and what it is. Because, even at the end of this video, we'll have a full playlist just for you guys. So now let's go. Yeah, and going back to the Skunk2 tensioner cover or timing tensioner cover, I did say it's magnesium. And here the tensioner is all good. It's not really actually magnesium, and pardon me for that. It's 6061 T6 high grade aluminum, billet aluminum. So, yep, this is a unique design. Yes, sir. Innovate or die. Uh huh. The reason why I say it's good is because it's a two-piece design. This helps you actually check a lot of things, during maintenance and whatnot, and it's just a lot easier to use, and it's actually a leak-free design because it doesn't flex. And now here it is, all installed, and yes, sir, it's starting to look really, really good. Oh, and look at that Kpower oil pan. Just looks good. I mean, it just fits all together with the Skunk2 timing chain cover, right? Look at that. So clean and so good. Yes, sir. It's all about serious business now, right? Rear wheel drive. Yes. And also this. One of the reasons why we didn't really talk about how we ported the cylinder head, the RBB cylinder head, is because we have this. The video that we made about porting an RBB cylinder head. And that video is a must watch because we talk about the history of us porting K series heads, and also for a few guys or a few competitors at the World Time Attack in Australia, in Sydney, Australia. So it's worth watching. It'll be in the description below. Don't worry about that. So yes, that's gonna be something to check on because this is exactly the same head. And of course, when we got to do after this, we're gonna do a K28 Type R, and that will be another good project. And it'll also be a PRB cylinder head, and we also already have a video of that. So hey, that is yet another reason to subscribe, right? And hit the notification bell. And now here we are. Look at that, all buttoned up and all closed up, and it's all good and ready. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Kpower Industries intake manifold that we ported looking really good. And from the bottom here, the oil pan and the Skunk2 timing chain cover looks really, really mean. Absolutely fantastic, right? Yes, sir. And this is now officially a real wheel drive motor. It looks really, really good. Yes. Yeah, actually, when you think about it, on a Miata, this is gonna look so mean and menacing, but it's gonna be really fun to drive, right? Like really, really good. I mean, a Miata has been known to have a well-balanced suspension system, and the size of the vehicle is just right. So imagine with more power, oh man, it's gonna be good. And onto the header now. I must say the craftsmanship is really, really good. So Kpower Industries did a good job on this header because it's gonna perform really good because hey, It's merging quite good, and the 421 system is excellent. And this one comes over to the oil pan. I mean, comes under, sorry, and then after it comes under it, it turns back rearward to the rear of the car. So it's because it's a rear wheel drive. And here, let me show you the ground clearance. It's really, really good. Look at that. Oh, yeah. And you can see on the other side, it bends rearward towards the rear, towards the rest of the exhaust. And here on this side, you can see the gradual bend, and the taper is pretty good. This is actually bent gently towards the rear, and the placement of the oxygen sensor or the O2 sensor is really, really good because it's accessible. So this is a good thing, and it's also on a V-band clamp. Yeah. Now here's a better look of the rear-wheel drive K24 engine. Yes, sir. Even the intake manifold and the Kpower Industries Miata throttle is still in the box on the side, so we haven't installed that, but we'll do that in a little bit. Yes, sir. And you can see the oil pan, the craftsmanship is really, really good. I mean, with all the trapdoor systems inside the baffles, yes, sir. You can see it's done really good because even the aluminum material, they use the very, very thick sheet, so this won't really easily bend or dent and whatnot. So this is gonna be really, really awesome for rear wheel drive application. And man, I can't imagine how good this would look on a Miata engine bay. It'll actually look really, really menacing, right? And borderline scary. Now, as some of you have noticed, this is the second part of a two-part series. The first one on here, we actually rebuilt the engine. We talked about bearing clearances, piston ring gaps, and everything. And because of that, and after you've watched this, you're also gonna check this one. We talk about the bearing clearances and how to check easily with a plastic gauge. And of course, once you get to that, there's also the piston ring video that we did earlier, and that's gonna explain a lot more stuff for you. And of course, to avoid the dreaded spun rod bearings, this one here. Yes, sir. And since we ported the Kpower Industries rear-wheel drive manifold, and because we ported it, we actually made an in-depth video of porting the intake manifold, discussing about the material or how the design is and how good it is. And also, that's something that guys can watch and get more out of. And of course, with that, all of the videos mentioned will be in a playlist, so you can binge watch and just click on it here for that.